I remember walking into this room and everybody knew what they were doing and I had no idea what was going on. I was so lost. I walk up to Marco and I said, hey, I've never taken your class before. And he gives me this look like, and
that's what I would do too. It looked like, yo, no.
Right. I haven't seen you before.
You before.
I think like with Marco's style of class, it's like Marco doesn't get attached too quickly to anybody because are you going to be here? Like, Are you going to stick with this? Really, I mean, it's intense.
Yeah. So you have commitment issues with your clients?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. Ooh,
yeah.
But it's funny. I would know off bat who would stay with me for a long time.
All right. Did you think I was going to stay? Or
no. I thought you was going to, because you pretty much like, she'll go to the point if she'll do something to the point that she'll probably collect. Remember those push-ups you were doing that one time?
Yeah.
And she was doing them, and her arm just gave out, and I'm like, yeah, she's gonna stick around.
And then we had to do squats, and then we had to do this and that and the other thing. And the girl that came with me, she's like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Wow.
So she never came back.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we've gotten a big chunk of the interview done already. You guys don't know it, but I've been recording, so
that's cool,
which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about the push-up thing and kind of seeing that you got to a point where you just couldn't go anymore. That's a good indicator of what somebody's willing to put into it, right? Mm-hmm. Like if they go to failure, which you know.
Oh, I definitely ate it. Like I face planted. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. She admitted it. She's like, I just fell. Right. And the whole class seen it, whatever. But they didn't want to say it. It was kind of, we saw it. But
I'll definitely own it.
She'll mention like, I did it.
I'll own it.
Yeah. You won't shy away from it, right?
No,
right.
I'll own it.
That's awesome. But I love the the chemistry and everything that you guys have as far as working out. Like
it's gonna be good.
You really seem like old friends. It doesn't seem like it's like just a professional relationship or anything like that. It seems like y'all have both like gained something from interacting and doing the workouts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I've said all along, like whenever I've worked out with Marco, because we've gone from classes to doing it just just one-on-one.
Individual, right.
And I've said to him before, I was like, this is not going to be the relationship where you just stand around and like tell me what to do. It's like, if we're working out together. Like we're going to do this together, not just you telling me, okay, you do this or you do this. It's, okay, let's both do it.
Exactly.
So that's how it's kind of been for us.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to the Where My Dad's At podcast. My name is Will, and this is Marco. You know our faces, but we have a new face with us today. And this face is new to the podcast, but it's not new to Team Marco.
Right.
So we're very happy and pleased and honored to have you with us today. Marco, go ahead and introduce.
Today we have my good friend Mims. She been with me. I ain't have Team Marco yet, but she been with me since 2016, and that's when Marco was still in my wife's belly.
Right.
So Marco was still baking at the time.
So pre-Marco.
Pre-Marco, yeah. So a funny story. We were just talking about it off air, but Mims came to one of my boot camp classes, and this is when I was in the old, I won't call it a yoga room, but that's where the child care watches at the YMCA. I have like a really big room.
Right.
And it was funny, she came with a friend. We're not, again, on this show, we don't say no names because, we're not trying to put nobody out there.
Right, for sure.
But, she came in, and, it's funny because I do this. I don't realize I do it, whatever, but I pretty much size everybody else who walks in the class who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. But I knew when she was talking to me that I think she was going to go a long way with the training style that I do anyway.
Right.
Because she never quit.
Right.
She'd rather fall on her face while doing push-ups, or she'd rather do a lunge to the point where her leg's going to give out and she can't do no more. And then ever since then, I wouldn't say apart. She's been a good friend of mine, so it was kind of like, we've been going off. When I went to Florida and I came back, she knew I was back.
Right.
She was saying like, hey, are we going back to training? She owns her own dental practice over here in Portsmouth, Love Dentistry.
Okay.
I've been going there, getting my mouth taken care of, or she'll get on me if I miss an appointment, or if I need to come in. It's the same vibe, right? If you don't come for my training, she gets on me. Like it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's a give and take.
Pretty much it is, right? So, it's my good friend Mims right here.
I love it. Hi. I love it. Nice to meet you, Mims.
It's great to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
Definitely.
It's great to have you. The fact that, y'all have developed that relationship to me is really cool. Mm-hmm. It's really awesome. just to think about going on 10 years, you know, you've both been kind of like looking out for each other in different ways, but you know, in a health way. Yeah. So I mean, tying that back into what you do with training and everything that like fits right in. That you know, you have that relationship based on helping each other take care of yourselves.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So 10 years almost.
10 years.
Wow. So when you think about that time period, we kind of talked a little bit before we officially jumped into the pod about the initial introduction. So like, you know, that's kind of one of our things here. We talk about those initial introductions, how we meet and how that process was. If there's like funny stories and different things like that. So what do you two have for initial introductions? What are the memories that stick out to you?
Like I had mentioned previously, like my first introduction with him, I came up to him, I introduced myself, and like I said, you know, I've never taken your class before. And he looked at me like, yeah, I know.
Right.
And he helped me pick out all the things that I was going to need, all the weights that I was going to use. Right. And I had heard it was a hard class. I didn't realize how hard it was. But after I took it, I was like, oh, I can do this. And then just kept coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Marco?
Yeah, pretty much what she said. I mean, it was, so I know it was a whole bunch of the ladies, and I can name some of them. I know we had Anna. She still comes to my boot camp now. Right. It was her, and I forgot her friend's name, whatever. But they all three used to always come to the class, and I just remember, and it'll be some time, and she can quote me if I'm wrong on this one, but so I used to do HIIT classes, right? And when I do my HIIT classes, I have more of like I call my golden girls that's in the class, because they trying to get like a little push to whatever. Right. And I think it was one time in class, Mims came up to me and said, hey, look, don't be easy on them just because it's a HIIT class. like everybody should get treated. And I was like, you're right. And then when I did that, actually they respected me more for that. They was like, wow, this.
Right.
Well, because I knew some of the girls that were in your Golden Girls class.
Okay.
And I knew some of them. One of them happened to be my neighbor and one of her good friends.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And so they had talked about how they were taking classes with Marco. And I was like, oh, I take classes with Marco too. And they were like, yeah, we're not taking the same class that you're taking.
Yeah. So
Yep. And then I think one Thanksgiving, you remember how you did that thing one Thanksgiving where you set up the gym?
Oh, the turkey burn.
The turkey burn. Oh, wow.
That's okay.
I did turkey burn.
It's the first time I'm hearing about a turkey burn.
Yeah. So it was the basketball courts.
Okay.
So we used the whole basketball court, and there was all kinds of things set up.
Nice.
And Marco had it set up so it was any fitness level could use it.
Okay.
And could do it at different speeds, different rates. Like there were stations that you would do. And it just so happens that I was there when some of the Golden Girls were there, and they are just like shaking their head at me like, oh my gosh, what are you having her do? They were like, you're not making us do that sort of stuff. And so then they started wanting to do more of the stuff. I mean, they couldn't do the exact same stuff that we were always doing, but they wanted more. So he pushed them more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely noticed about how he sets up the workouts and everything. He tailors it to where you're at. And that's one thing that, like, for me, the few times I've been able to work out with him is because he will tailor it to you and not make it easy.
No,
but through his experience and his expertise, be able to look and say, okay, I see where you're at. I can tell where you're at. And like you said, kind of size people up, but not in a bad way. But then go ahead and tailor and customize it.
You can't have it be too difficult, like to the point where it's unachievable. If it's unachievable, then people aren't going to want to keep doing it.
Very true.
You want to get that perfect balance of I'm pushing you, but pushing you to the point where you can do it. Like, I know you can do this.
Right.
It's going to be hard and it's going to not be very much fun, but you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back and do it again, and it's going to be easier the next time, and then we'll push higher.
Right.
I think that's one of the great things about how Marco trains.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing. I get to see some of the group chat stuff that you're talking about, and that's one of the things I see is people accomplish things, get through it, and then be ready for that next challenge because they saw they can make it through it when they didn't think they could, but they pushed through it and they got through it. So, yeah.
She's the one that pretty much told me all the time Mark, when you gonna start your own business? Like you said,
I know.
Like,
you've been telling me.
I'm like, I don't know, like because I told you one of the topics was last time was that it's just I was scared.
Right.
Man, I'm like, and, she was pretty much telling me, I'm like, you need to just do it.
Right.
You just do it. I've slowly transitioning into it right now, whatever. But she's the one pretty much telling me all the time, every time she sees me, like, hey, you just, what is going to happen?
Right.
What is going to happen?
That's good. We need people like that in our lives for sure. Yeah. For sure. So that's real interesting to hear that as you get to the point where you're doing your own gym and having your own workout, some of the people, able to help you get through that, because we all need those kind of people. So yeah, that's awesome. Mims, I would like to ask you have your own dental practice. Where did that all come from? I kind of know his story of how he got to where he got to and what motivated him. What was that like for you?
So oddly enough, usually everybody has this like aha moment in their life where like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. I did not necessarily have that aha moment until later on in life. So I graduated from ODU. Okay. And I was thinking about going to med school and being a psychiatrist, actually. That's what I wanted to do. So I decided once I had gotten my bachelor's degree, I wanted to try to work in the field first to make sure before I committed all that time and energy to try to achieve that goal. I wanted to make sure that's what I really wanted to do.
Gotcha.
It was at the point in time just in life where I had a bachelor's degree, but I couldn't get anything with it. I was overqualified to be this. I was underqualified to be that.
Okay.
And so I had graduated from college and I really needed a job. And so my sister, she was actually in dental school at the time in Richmond. And she had said, well, hey, come up here. You can come live with me. You can work. I'll get you a job in a dental office so you can figure out what you want to do. You can take some classes, decide if you want to apply to med school, just figure out what you want to do. So I moved up to Richmond and I started working in a dental practice. And I worked for an amazing dentist. And her husband was actually in my sister's class. And so I just got to know her really well. And I looked up to her and my sister was in dental school too. So I looked up to her and I just was like, I could do this.
Right.
And so then I started working towards getting into dental school. I had to take a couple more classes. So I took them up at VCU and then applied to dental schools and got in and went to MCV in Richmond. And so
the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah, the rest is history. And then, so I met my husband in dental school.
Okay.
We got married right after we graduated, and then we moved up to Charlottesville for about 7 years.
Okay.
And so we worked up there and lived there for a while, and then we started having kids.
Right.
And my whole family's down here.
Okay.
So we just stars aligned, and we found a practice that was for sale 2 miles down the street from where I grew up. And my parents were still in my childhood house, and moved back to the area.
It just worked out.
And it just worked out. Yeah.
Right. But you worked at it. It wasn't something.
Oh, it wasn't just magical.
Like you said, there was no aha moment where you were
where it was like, oh, this is what I want to be in life. That wasn't for me.
Right. And then on top of that, having like it being passed down or something like that. There wasn't that thing. I mean, you had a sister that was involved, but it wasn't like
it wasn't like this is the open door. This door's open for you that you can. Yeah. I worked. I mean, I had worked hard in undergrad because I thought I wanted to go to medical school. So I'd gotten good grades. And then I had to take other classes when I was up in Richmond, and I worked hard to get good grades in those classes. Right. And I had lots of experience because I had been working in a practice for a good solid year before I applied. And so I ended up working for 2 years in practice and then going back to school. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I love hearing stories like that. Like I love finding out how people get to where they're at. It's very interesting to me. I also feel like it's one of those things that you're always going to have somebody in a position where they're not sure what they're doing or they're striving for something that here's a story like that. And it kind of gives them something to, hope for and look forward to, and inspire them. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. The aha moments. I wonder how many people truly have those aha moments like that. I don't know if that's.
I mean, my husband, he had decided from when he was in middle school that he wanted to be a dentist. So Eric knew from the get-go that's what he always wanted to do, and he worked. Gotcha. He worked because for that goal, and that's what he wanted to do. And he's one of those people that just knew, but for others of us,
that's I think most of us tend to fall on that other side of it, where it's like, you might have it at 5 where you're like, I want to be a fireman, but then as you get you lose track of that, and I mean, you find out how much school you might have to go for something.
One of my children at 5 years old decided he wanted to be a monster truck driver. So and it changes. He's definitely not there anymore. Right. But you know what I mean? Like it's like you have these goals when you're a child,
right?
but I mean, just to hit on what you had said earlier, you know, we have different people in our lives that, you know, help us in different ways. And so, I mean, I was very thankful that my sister introduced me to that. And
that's what I was thinking.
You know, and I looked up to her and, you know, I was like, I could do this. And the dentist that I was her assistant, and she pushed me as well too. She was like, you can do this.
Right.
And so we need people like that in our life. So it's nice to be able to do that for others as well too. You know what I mean? Like you pass it on to giving somebody the confidence that, you got this, you got it, do it.
Yeah. And sometimes I think, I was actually talking to somebody about that earlier today about, being able to give in that way and kind of help somebody along, sometimes being even more rewarding than some of your achievements. Sometimes being that for somebody, especially if you had that, is like a huge blessing for you to be that person for somebody. So that I like, and I see all of that between the two of you with your story, with his story. I definitely see where people have poured into you and kind of been there as you're trying to figure it out and trying to walk through it. So that is really important. And I think as we talk about it now, anybody who is watching, hopefully, is able to or maybe inspired by. So maybe I didn't do the thing I wanted to do, but I can still be something to somebody else. Yeah. I can still, you know, serve a purpose and receive a blessing and bless someone else with that. Being able to be that vehicle for somebody.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. So no aha moments. You weren't. You didn't get a visit from the tooth fairy that came to you and told you.
Not in the middle of the night, just like
the
like, dust and saying this is what you're gonna do.
Yeah. I can only think of one tooth fairy related movie. I think it was with The Rock. The Rock. So you didn't watch that movie?
No, I didn't watch that movie, and then just magically.
You're like, I want to be that. Yeah, that's cool. But it's funny to think about it like that. But that's awesome. That's awesome. In your you said you spoke about psychiatry, and that's I don't know if you know, that's something. Not psychiatry specifically, but just therapy, mental health. Right?
Mental health is huge, and it's important.
It's huge and it's important, and it's one of the things that are kind of like the driving force behind where my dad's at. Like, being able to share experiences that sometimes people are too ashamed to share and say, "Look, I needed help getting through this." For us as men, it can be really difficult, of course, to do that.
Definitely.
And because I do believe women are the better of when it comes to people.
But I'll tell you what, women have a hard time too. Like there's a lot of pressure if you're a working mom, like to be able to like have to say out loud, I don't have this. Right. It's a huge thing. And so, but yes, men usually suppress their feelings more so than women do. But even one step beyond like the feelings, suppressing them or being able to share them, just like the community, a lot of time, I feel like personally it can be a little bit easier because there is in my opinion, a slight advantage when it comes to being open and being able to be open and then being received. So for us, a lot of times, what does that reception look like? Like I know me personally, I didn't feel comfortable necessarily going to my father and saying, as a father, this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm struggling. How did you get through this? Or even going to friends. Now I'm more comfortable with it, but it was an evolution. It took time. Yeah. So I feel like that's something that here where my dad's at, we try to deal with that. And how important is it to have this? You know what I mean? Like what you guys have going, and you know, to be to support for each other, because we all need our different support systems to help us.
Yeah, we really do. I think one thing too that always jumps out to me is where that support comes from, what that support looks like, and how we can be that support. It doesn't always look the same. Like maybe coming from, I would consider your relationship kind of like sister brother. So coming from a sister, that support, how does that look versus a brother that giving that support, and how important it is to know that as our female counterpart, friend, sister, how you can be that for us and how we should be open to receiving that. And that brings me to another person that we hope to have on here, your sister, your cousin. So just bridging some of those gaps and those voids and how where my dad's at being about enlightening and growing fatherhood, but it's a community. Again, it's the village, and they say it takes a village to raise a child. We believe it takes a village to raise a father as well. Yeah. So that's really important to us. It's really important.
I completely agree.
You having that potential background in psychiatry, again, it's just one of those full circle moments where it's like, you at some point realize the importance of that and still do. Mm-hmm. And you took a different path, but that's still something that...
Yeah, my background, so my undergraduate was in psychology and chemistry.
Okay.
And so I was interested very much so in the whole chemistry of our brain and how our brain works.
Yes.
And how there are deficiencies that do cause us to feel certain ways sometimes. And so if that was the direction I was going to go, that's kind of what I was going to go into. The study of that. Right. And, just trying to figure out ways to help people in that way.
Right.
Come to find out that just wasn't my calling, but I feel like I do a lot of therapy in my dental chair as well too. People open up. People tell me things that they haven't even told their family.
Right.
And so, just being a set of ears to listen to what people have to say. And,
for sure.
And
that's the same thing as PT. When people come to me, whatever, they feel more relaxed and comfortable. They want to express like, I just not feeling it more. Like they feel more comfortable. I mean, I think when you leave the area where you're not comfortable with and you go to a different area, whatever, you feel more comfortable to speak with somebody, right? Like PT is that therapy, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go to a dental office, whatever, if you're comfortable, with your dentist, hygienist, whatever, you're gonna speak clearly. You're gonna speak open. I know I do.
Yeah, I just kind of got goosebumps kind of thinking about it because I look for parallels, and there's a huge parallel there where if I'm in your chair and you're getting ready to work on me, or you're training, I'm vulnerable.
Absolutely.
I'm very vulnerable.
Your defenses are completely down. And so
totally.
When your defenses are down, then you feel more free to open up and share things.
Very much so.
And that helps. Not only does it helps us connect in a way.
Right.
And so I think as humans, we want to have that connection. And so I feel like if you feel like you're connected to someone, then you're going to have a better result of no matter what it is. And it's like, I just feel like that's a huge thing. So I do always try to connect with my patients to let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I've got you. We're going to get this done. And even though this is not something you really want to do, which can be like training sometimes.
Exactly.
That, we'll get it done together.
It's going to be okay, but you got to take this needle in your mouth, though.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
As I'm going to stick a drill in your mouth. Yeah. As I'm going to pull out your tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Receiving a root canal while dealing with repressed feelings, like all at the same time. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And it's funny how I never really thought of it like that. But I mean, it's the same thing. Like when you go to the barber, when you go these different places.
Yeah, I mean, how many people tell their barber or their hairdresser or whatever everything? That person has all the gossip.
Yeah,
yeah.
And as the client, we look forward to that. I've been dealing with this barber for X amount of years, and I got to tell him the update of what's going on.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting some insight.
See how it works.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm very, very interested in how the brain works and how, why we feel the way we feel and different chemistry, the chemistry side of things, and just learning more about it. And I think one thing you said about being interested in the different chemicals and the deficiencies and stuff is like that first step of understanding that you're not a broken person if there's something imbalanced or something that that you're not even aware of. You're not. It doesn't make you some bad person because we don't feel that same way about physical deficiencies necessarily. Right. If you have an injury or have something that chronic pain or different things like that, you seek help for it and you deal with it, but you don't look at it necessarily as something that is who you are. It's just something I'm dealing with. Yeah. Whereas our feelings and our emotions and mentally, we kind of take that on as, with different stigmas and different things like, I'm a flawed person. I'm broken because I feel this way, or I'm broken because I can't go through this like everyone else seems like they can just take it in stride and go, and which is not true. We're all dealing with something, but you know, it can be difficult to deal with that and acknowledge it, and which is one of the first things, to be able to acknowledge it and seek somebody out who knows about the chemistry
knows what
of the
to
brain.
do. Yeah, and that's the thing is if you're in that hole, like a lot of people describe it as, you're in this black hole and you don't know how to get out.
Right.
And if people don't talk about these things out loud and say, you know, there is a way out, and
Right.
being able to find the right person for you to help you get out and
Right.
give you the tools, whether it be, you know, whether it be medication and therapy, it's whatever the tool is that's going to work best for each individual has to be, you know, you have to achieve that and figure out what's going to work and get them out of the hole.
Oh yeah, every Friday, 1:30, therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every Friday, 1:30, therapist.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had anxiety till she talked to me about it. I was like,
Right.
I didn't know. I thought it was just something normal.
Right.
You won't know until you talk to a friend. You think you know it, right? But until you talk to
Right.
a professional, you kind of like, oh well, I guess I do have that. I mean, going to a therapist is like me going to a dentist or going to a doctor. Like it's an appointment I have to make. You know what I mean?
And you could probably speak to that. That's not what I think is the mainstream.
I wouldn't think so. No.
Considering going to a therapist and going to a dentist on par, you know, as far as the
But
need.
It's true, though.
It's true.
It's true.
It's very true. With the brain being an organ, or you know, it's true. It's physically there. You know, you have something that you have to seek professional advice and you know, get treated. So yeah. So as far as like being in your profession, being in your field, obviously we can't talk specifically about like your patients, but what are some of the things where people struggle with? I mean, is it brushing, flossing? Like what are, you know, that's something I'm interested in.
This is, yes, it's all of it. It's all of it.
Okay.
And so, making sure people, you know, brush their teeth twice a day, floss their teeth, making sure your diet is the way it's supposed to be. And, and I tell my patients, I'm a broken record. I say the same thing all day long, every day. I tell them, I don't try to take all of your things away from you that you enjoy, but you kind of have to just fix things so that it's not ruining not only your health, but your teeth as well too. So, you know, we try to teach patients, you know, how to still have the things that they enjoy, but everything's in moderation in life is what we always try to say too.
For sure.
But making sure you keep up with your oral hygiene, which is a super important thing, and making sure you go to the dentist twice a year. And dentistry has evolved from being where you just go to the dentist if something's hurting. To now it's more preventative. So you want to, if your dentist tells you to do something that's preventative, you kind of want to do it because you don't want it to snowball into something that's huge to have to be taken care of.
Right. For sure. Yeah. Can you guys see me as you speak? Can you see me shrink in shame? Because I don't know the last time I've been to.
But I'm not going to I don't give anybody a hard time.
Right.
You can ask all my patients. Like I don't fuss at people.
Okay.
It doesn't do any good.
Right.
I mean,
it really doesn't.
I just encourage them each time I see them. If I know a particular person has a particular problem, I'm like, all right, we talked about this. Come on, let's work on this.
Let's work on it. Right.
You know, because again, if you fuss at people, they're just not going to come back, and that's not what we want. We want people to keep coming back, and just kind of working towards. And I tell everybody, just work a little bit more. Like add one day of flossing into your routine, and then add another day next time I see you. Just let's incorporate it a little bit more. So
right,
you use me as an example, man. It's all right. Hey, look,
you use an example.
You use me as an example because my thing is that I've been using more water picks. Right, my wife, she finally, you know, like Marco, you can have a water pick. I said, all right, I got me a water pick now. So now, because now that I got my top wisdom teeth removed, right, my bottom ones they didn't want to touch because I guess he said the nerves or whatever. He's scared that I don't know. I really can't explain too much on it, but they were saying now they use the water pick away the back of my mouth because it's hard to reach back there, right, with a brush, whatever, right. So now I'm water picking, I'm flossing, right. I'm kind of like, all right, it makes sense. And actually, it actually works better than the floss. I'm sitting there kind of, oh, this is actually all right.
And I tell patients, if you can water pick, by all means, water pick. It's a great thing too. Yeah.
A little bit of mouthwash in there. And I was like, oh man, this is like
really.
Yeah. Marco likes using it now. Marco's like,
the bacteria that are under our gums are anaerobic and they don't like oxygen. So if you're shooting water down underneath the gums, it exposes that bacteria to oxygen.
Gotcha.
It decreases your bacterial load, makes those tissues tighter, so then less stuff gets stuck back in there, and it makes your mouth healthier all around. So
gotcha.
I stress to people, yes, something, floss, water pick, something.
Right,
just
for
something.
sure.
You'll get your water pick now.
Get a water pick.
I am going to get a water pick.
Get a water pick.
I am, and I'm going to say it was prescribed.
Yeah.
Expert opinion. What are the toothpaste commercials say? 99.
What? 4 out of 5 dentists approved.
Yeah. So I can say no. I spoke to
my disclaimer is I do not have stock in water pick. It's just a really good product.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to give that disclaimer.
Yeah,
for sure.
I have to tell patients all the time. Like, nobody's paying me to tell you this.
Right.
I don't get any. I get no kickback for every water pick people go buy on Amazon. It has nothing to do with me. I just
That's
really
funny. You're like, use water picks and use my link to link in description.
You type in this in the coupon code.
Right.
Use that water pick. But no, she been. If it wasn't for her right here, I would have been rocking and missing tooth. I don't care. I'm like, I don't miss them tooth. She looked at me and was like, you gonna get a bridge. I said, I don't want a bridge. She was like,
I said, yes, you're gonna get a bridge.
Yes,
I said, get a bridge.
Because I was gonna rock. I said, no. Nobody gonna see my side, whatever.
No,
so I'm like, she was like, no, you want to get one? I was like, okay. And I feel kind of vulnerable now. As a trainer, I'm kind of like, okay, I gotta get this bridge, and I gotta go get my root canal so she can put the real bridge on. I'm kind of like, all right. And my wife was kind of like, take advantage. She said, you better. She said, if she says you need to get it, you need to get it. I said, okay, all right. Well, I'm like, man, it's like I was like, okay, but no, it's really is good. And I've been taking it more real than personal, like overall health. I take that seriously too as well now. Right. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure oral hygiene leads to other bad cases too. Right?
Definitely. I mean, they've linked the bacteria that we have in our mouths to heart disease, and it's super important. Super important to make sure you keep a healthy mouth. Okay.
All right. That was definitely something that was in my mind to touch on. It's definitely very important to the rest of it. I don't think a lot of people think about it in terms of that, and I don't think a lot of people. I think when they think health, the first thing they think is, do I smoke, and then what do I eat, what do I ingest? So I think,
and all of those things affect your mouth too. Your mouth. Smoking, people who smoke are at a high risk to having gum disease or periodontal disease, and depending on what you eat, that affects your mouth as well too. If you're eating, a highly sugar diet, a highly acidic diet, that's going to break down your teeth even faster than someone who doesn't. So like all of those things that are important to keep you healthy, like the things that you consume and your habits that you have, that works for your mouth too. So it's a whole package.
Nice. It really is. Wow. Yeah, I've definitely gained some insight for sure. Definitely gained some insight.
We didn't scare you, did you?
All right.
Oh no, I've been scared of that.
Now schedule your appointment.
Yeah, I got a root canal when I was like 14 or 15 on a front tooth. And I've been scared of the dentist ever since.
Really?
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad experience. It was just, they did it in phases, I guess. They had to do it in phases. Yeah. And it just, at one point, I had a temporary whatever in there, and I'm talking, and it just flies out. And I'm like, Mom, I need to go back. It just flew out. And like, I'm in school, and this. So, I was just kind of scared. But
I think for a lot of people, it's the lack of control. Like, you have no control over what that other person is doing to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's in your mouth, which is an area that's a sensitive area, and
it is.
It could potentially hurt a lot, and so you have no control over it, and
very vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Very vulnerable. Yeah. Okay.
Because even when I remember when I got my wisdom teeth removed, I'm thinking, my wife said, "You scared?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm scared." I said, "But I don't show it." But the guy, the surgeon I had, he was really, really, really good. I don't know what type of stuff he gave me, but all I remember he told me to count back from 10.
Right.
All I remember is getting to 8. And apparently when they took me to the break room and my wife came to meet me, whatever, They said supposedly, my wife said she should record. I kept going up to my wife, kind of like, "You are beautiful," like that, like something like that. Whatever.
I'm gonna clip that up and I'm gonna use that over and over again.
You know what I mean? I go like this.
You need to send it to her. You need to send that clip to her.
For sure.
And then she said, I got in the car, and then my boss was texting me, and I'm texting her. And I don't remember. She said, you texted her something. My boss said, are you okay, Mark? Because I was slurring. And I guess my wife, I don't know, she texted her kind of like, yeah, Mark just got out of surgery. Like, whatever. Like, please ignore just for the next couple of hours, whatever. Because I was feeling, I guess I was feeling good. Like, I was like, yeah. And I remember waking up in my bed. And Marco, you can ask Marco this on the next show. He said that I rolled out of bed trying to go get some water. Marco was trying to pick me up. Marco said, "Dad, you heavy? Like, get back in the bed, whatever." And I'm like, "Hey, man, But at least I was around good people to take care of me." So
yeah, for sure.
I think she texted me that day. I don't know if she
really.
I don't know.
I did.
Probably.
I need to check on you.
Probably.
Right.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what you texted back. It was probably funny.
It was the good stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. My teenage daughter. I have 3 children. My 11-year-old's with me today, but I have a teenager. Then I have a 9-year-old. My teenager had her wisdom teeth removed, and leading up to it, she was really nervous, really scared, and she was worried that she was going to be loopy and do a bunch of silly, inappropriate things like the videos that are out there and stuff like that. So I did indeed videotape her afterwards, but she didn't do anything wild. She was just kind of like out of it, and so it was anticlimactic or whatever for her, but there's definitely some funny things that could happen depending on what's going on. But
my oldest has had some teeth taken out, and he says some really funny things when he was under, or when he was coming out of it, and I would play it back for him, and he's like, "I can't believe that was me." I was like, "Yeah, that was you."
That's funny. Wow, that's very funny. I know.
will never use it against him, though. Never share. I will never share it.
Right.
I still got video of Marco though. I'm gonna save that one when he got his front teeth removed when he was about. I think he was in.
Was he 3? He was 3.
I remember you would trying to look at it, whatever. You kept on telling me like, just hold off if you can.
Right.
And I guess they were saying, let's just go ahead and
get it. It finally got to the point where he had
to get removed. And they told Marco, this is happy juice.
Right.
I want you to drink this happy juice. And Marco was drinking it.
Oh no,
and also
happy juice.
Yeah, and then his face still Marco's skin got a fluster or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was going like, trying to pick, they give like kids like a whole bunch of toys, whatever. Marco's sitting there like rubbing the toys and stuff like that. Before, now you probably can like for a mother, it's like to see them in that state, whatever. Mm-hmm. Or something he was just like out.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then when we had what broke my heart, but I had to keep it together because my wife, when you had to pick them up, and when they wake up, and
they're miserable.
They're hollering and screaming because they wake up. And they saying like, give them a bear. Marco took the bear and threw it like, I don't care about this bear. Yeah. Driving home from OBC, he was like pushing the chair back, and I'm kind of like, I get it, man. Like, he was afraid.
Yeah. You just want to take it away from him at that point.
You know what I mean? Like, if I could take your pain, son, I can, man. Like,
that's rough.
But for a mom, they took it hard, and I said, I got to keep it together. I said, keep both of us be in an emotional state right now.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, our youngest, he had his tonsils taken out when he was 5. And I'll tell you what, being in that recovery post-op area with all because he had it done at CHKD with all these kids in there that had just got out of surgery, and they're all yelling and screaming, and I just wanted to.
Yeah, that breaks my heart. Right?
They're like, they're in a room with like curtains or whatever, but it's like, you just feel for all the other moms in there and dads that are taking care of those kids that are just yelling, and then your kid's yelling, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is like. It just breaks your heart.
Right. It's unimaginable. Like I couldn't. Yeah.
Even though whatever they're having done is for the better for them.
Yeah.
It's still hard when they're hurting.
Yeah. I'm sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, so I've learned about the infamous memes today. I appreciate it. I've been hearing about how you guys have stuck together and how you guys have kind of how you've motivated and
every
Friday,
helped out. Yeah, every Friday 5:30.
Yeah, every Friday 5:30.
When we can.
Well, as much as we can. Yeah.
As much as we can.
It's funny. Remember, I went to the Y that one time, like recently. I was in the past like 6 months or so, and the girls were like, "Oh, you need to come to this class. You need to come to this class." And you're like, "No, we do 5 o'clock.
We do 5 o'clock.
We do 5:30." He's like, "No, she does 5:30 in the morning."
Right. They do not even touch 5. If it says 5 a.m., they be like, we're not getting up there early, Marco.
Wow.
For me, I don't got a problem getting up early. I mean, I really don't. I mean, for me, it's kind of like start my day. Actually, I get up, I work out.
Yeah,
I go with my business. It's kind of like coffee to me. I'm kind of all right. Well,
I definitely get more done when the earlier I get up.
It just makes you feel. Well, me personally, it makes me feel so much better to get up and get my workout in. It makes the day go by a lot better for me. Not only physically, but like just clears your head and you just can move forward with the day.
Yeah, what are those things called? Endorphins and all that good stuff.
It's what it goes off in your brain, kind of like when you the more what should I say? The more harder you're working out, whatever, it sets off or whatever, kind of like makes your body feels good, right? And it also it's a mental thing too that you accomplish something. Because one of the hardest thing is to get out of bed. That's one of the hardest thing, right? For me now, it is too. The older I get, I roll up. I'm kind of like, all right,
it takes a little bit longer.
It takes a little bit longer. I gotta get my green tea. I'm drinking it. I'm watching a little bit of the news. I'm like, all right. Before she gets here, I go on the treadmill. I walk uphill for about 30 minutes at the highest point, give me a good sweat going on. And then I think she does her cardio at home too as well. Then we meet and do like the weightlifting part, whatever, like stuff like that.
So it's funny because like when we meet at 5:30, that's usually our second workout of the day. So I've already done a 30 to 45 minute workout before I get here. And then we do our strength training together.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, cause we used to do that at the Y. We used to meet up early in the morning and we used to do, training and stuff like that, but now I feel like at my gym I get a better workout because now I'm comfortable and nobody sitting there looking and asking me questions, this and that, whatever. And it's like this is the time I actually can do a workout, like she was saying, whatever. Most of the time I'm telling people, all right, you're gonna do this and do that, whatever, and I don't got time to get me a workout in. Now my workouts is now on Tuesdays. I do at my YMCA. I do in the back room. I do my hit bike, I do my strength training, and then on Thursday I do my legs, hit bike, and then I meet her on Friday, and I, constantly, this is the time I can get my workout in, right? And it's just like if I don't get it in, and I have a partner to do it with this time, whatever, it's kind of like, all right, we kind of motivate each other.
You hold each other accountable to,
there it is.
Yeah, you got to get 15 in. You got to get 20 in, not 5.
Right. Because that last workout we did a new ab workout. We got to hold the ball on our stomach. Ooh. And I can admit, that thing was killing me. We had to hold it. I think we did 3 rounds for 1 minute.
Oh my gosh, both of us. We were crumbling.
I wasn't even on the front. The first round, I'm kind of, all right.
Oh yeah, you held it together for the first round.
Second round, I told myself, these next 2 rounds is going to be not good.
Right.
I got to 25, so I was kind of like, oh, I ain't going front. I caught a cramp. I'm like, all right, I got up.
Oh no.
I got my composure, did it again.
Right.
Come back again. I said, man. And now it's kind of like, oh. And then I'm looking at her kind of like, good for you. And then she stopped a little bit. She was like, okay, look. Because she was like, I beat Marco.
The first round where you went all the way through.
I should have did that.
I did not. I had to take breaks.
Oh, you took a break.
I had to take breaks. There's no way. But I'll tell you what, I'll take a break, but then I'll get back in it. Like it's not like, oh, I can't do this, I'm done.
Right.
That's the training of me where I said, man, I gotta show, I gotta lead, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna hold it the whole time, whatever. And then when I got done, I said, Marco, that was not a good idea.
Well, you should know me by now that you don't have to like do
I
that
know,
to me.
I know. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this is Mims. Like, Jesus Christ, I should have did 30. Took a 10-second and did it again. I'm sitting there like, I'm going to hold it the whole time. And then once I put my leg down, it's like a big...
Well, it's like your core just like...
Yeah. And I started feeling it back here. I was like, man. And while I'm sitting there, I'm watching the movie She looking at me like, Marco, what you got on? I was like, oh, I forgot how to watch this to make sure Marco can watch the movie. I was like, and she's kind of looking at me like, turn it off.
There's like all this like blood everywhere.
Yeah. This is not motivating.
And while we're doing crunch, we're sitting there like, oh, the clown is right. I'm like, man, but no, it's seriously, it's a good workout, man. Like I be looking for those days. I'll be looking.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I feel like we do have fun. We have fun.
It sounds like it.
We have fun. That starts off because the Friday is usually my workout, and I have a half day at work with us, so I got my workout in. Like I'm good to go. Start the weekend off right. I wish we can do more. My goal is for next year to add another one. I'm saying it right now on the podcast. I'm gonna try to add it. I'm gonna try to see if I can do a Thursday and a Friday morning. That's going to be for my new year. So now I can try to get the whole week. And that's the only way I can do it if I do like a Thursday morning and a Friday morning.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be my new for 2025 at that end.
Nice.
So hopefully, I'm hopefully trying to talk to the apartments, trying to get a hit bike in here. So a hit bike is when the one with the handlebars, and you got to push back and forth. It has the big fan in the front.
Oh, okay.
All right. If I get that thing in there, and me and her was go back and forth, and that's for everybody to use, right? I'm like, get that thing in there. It's excellent. That hit bike is an excellent workout. You try doing that bike for about 25 minutes.
Right.
My heart rate, when I looked at it, was like at 180.
Right.
And I'm always in the red zone. It's an excellent calorie burn. Excellent calorie burn. And people, and they don't call it the hit bike in my class. They call it,
I was gonna say, I've heard y'all refer to it as something else.
They call it the female dog. You want to say it that way?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Beep bike.
Yeah. They call it the beep bike. So yeah. So I'm gonna try to add that to our new workout routine.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna throw you in there.
Huh?
Yeah.
What was that?
I'm gonna throw you in that mix.
My abs are burning just listening to y'all talk about your abs burning.
Yeah, man.
So I've got my workout in for the day.
It's funny, man. And it's funny, sometimes I gotta watch too when we're doing like, and I think I stopped doing it in the middle of the week. We used to do like a lot of upper body, and I think about her working on people's mouth. Because she always got to be like this the whole time. When I'm kind of like, all right, Mark, we got to think of maybe doing it on Friday when she don't have a patient.
But I did tell you, like, I mean, I've told you from the get go, like my whole goal was strength. Like my whole goal was strength. I need to be strong.
Okay.
Like I need to make sure that I maintain my strength
right.
because that helps with my job.
Right, that's true.
But we did when we used to work out more so during the week.
Yeah.
I had to tell him, I'm like, Mark, I can't do arms like that. Like we can't do it. So that's why we did arms on Friday for the most part.
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot of upper body.
Because I don't work on Friday. So
gotcha.
So
Makes
that way
sense.
I tell Mark, I was like, it doesn't matter what my arms are like if I'm not working.
Yeah, spaghetti arms on Friday. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think we've evolved over time though to the point where it's like, okay, I'll tell Marco, I'll be like, okay, we can't do something with shoulders. Like my shoulders are wrecked. We can't do something with shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Or okay, my calf is wrecked. We can't do something with that. Like, so, and I think you remember your foot was.
Oh, my foot.
Your foot was for a while.
My foot was jacked up. Yeah.
So it's like we get to the point where we just kind of look at each other and like, and Marco will tell me something. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that.
Right.
And it's not that I can't do it because I just don't want to do it. It's like, no, my body can't do that this week. So let's figure out something different to do.
Because usually we do the half ball push. We do a whole deck of cards.
Yeah, whole deck of cards with the push-ups.
We do a whole deck of card push-ups. But how we break them up, we do 20 cards, do a workout. 20 cards,
come back. Okay.
Do a workout. And then pretty much we got to go through the whole deck of cards, whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, now we'll break it up. I think we do like 20 push-ups, do a workout, come back, do 20 push-ups. Yeah. But once her recovery gets back, we're going to go back to the deck of cards and doing like the whole deck, get back in that routine.
Gotcha.
But yeah, she, Team Marco Health and Fitness, she'll be one of those people that was one of the key aspects. So, why I did Team Marco and came about stuff like that. Everybody that I had on had a little, sparks though, how Team Marco came about, I would say at the beginning, Mims was right there actually at the beginning when I was just thinking I'm just going to stick to the YMCA. I'm not going to do nothing else, whatever. She's pretty much telling me to think bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like, the Y is cool and all right.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's not me. All right. It's not my corporation. Right. It's somebody else's corporation,
Right.
And people don't know too, when you do like PT work or anywhere, when you do PT training at any type of corporation, whatever, you don't see that pay. You see half of it.
Right.
You don't see the whole pay. So if the package is $350, you might see 120 of that package, payment wise, whatever. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And pretty much you're thinking like, well, I'm working, but you're not seeing it. that's why I tell my PT trainers the why. I said have a lot of clients, whatever. Don't just have one or two. Have a lot because it's you're not going to see it. So that that inspired me kind of be like, hey, you know what? I gotta pretty much branch out, do my own. Like I talked about what Pharrell said in his conference, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, who said you can't be a CEO?
Right.
Who said you can't be a businessman? Whatever. Branch out and do that. Right. I mean, if you don't step out, you don't know, right?
Right.
So I pretty had to step out my comfort zone. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I did it when they took, when they took away one of my rooms from the fitness classes, and I took that as a sign. I'm kind of like, you know what? This would be the time for me to, go ahead and do this.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, hey, look, I'm going to do the small step first.
Right.
And I said, if it gets a little bit better, then I'll start looking into buildings and see what we got. And me, you was corporating, because we talked about having like a building that has like a back room for a podcast and the gym, whatever. But I said, I want to do this first. And I said, everything was successfully happen. Then I branch out. And Mills kind of looking like, okay, kind of like, I'm gonna hold you accountable to that.
Nice.
That's why I like talking to her, in the morning time, whatever. It's kind of like, that's my therapy. She gets her therapy. Kind of like we bounce off each other.
Right. Yeah. So that's a great chemistry, like we talked about. That's great.
Yeah, man.
To have that back and forth. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that's excellent. We're definitely happy, and we're thankful that you came through. We're honored to have you on here as part of Team Marco, Team 757. And with your background, it was very valuable to us and insightful to us to have you on here.
Thank you.
And I'm sure the people who watch will get something from it as well. So
first guest we have.
Yeah.
Many
to come.
Yeah,
many to come.
Yeah, season four. So we've got big plans for season 4.
Oh, yeah.
This is the beginning. So we thank you.
And I wanted her to kind of bless it first. I said, I'm going to have her on first. I said, let's do Mims first. Let's let her bless it first. But I said, I'd rather her bless it than anybody else. I could have I could have said this, but I was like, I told you.
No, I remember. We've been working on this for a long time.
I said, before we go any further, I said, I want to have Mims on first.
Yeah.
I said, that's no matter who else. I don't care what. Brother, sister, uncle, I said, that's not happening. I was like, let's have her on first. Yeah. We had to have you. We had to have you on.
Yeah. And I've been, because of his excitement and because of his, like, he's definitely set on having you on. I'm like, I'm down. I'm in. Like, it's going to be great because of how passionate you are about you coming through. So, again, we thank you. Is there anything else you would like to share? Anything we didn't get to touch on? And I'm going to get stung, but I'm going to take one for the team.
I just think I'm super thankful that I have met Marco in my life and that we've been able to, develop our friendship.
Get back in there.
That we've been able to develop our friendship because I don't think Marco and I would have been friends, nor like if we had met on the street, there's no way. I don't think that we were going to be friends, but I think we've developed a great friendship over the years.
It was meant to cross paths, I think.
Yeah, we were meant to cross each other's paths.
I think we were meant to cross our paths. And
meant to help each other in our lives, So I'm just very grateful for that and keep working with him and keep moving on.
Yeah.
So in your practice currently, do you accept new patients normally, or
normally? Yes.
Okay.
She sounds busy.
Normally, yes. We have had a slight pause on accepting new patients for right this second.
Gotcha.
But we are hoping to, as the new year rolls around, we're hoping to be able to open it up to see anybody that wants to come see us.
Excellent.
Anybody that wants to come see us. So call me in January.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Look, I've got an inside track now. So
you've got an inside track.
Yeah.
I will make an exception. I will make an exception. So yes.
Excellent.
But I tell everybody. No, I tell everybody. If you're not seeing us, just make sure you're seeing someone.
Someone is better.
And in dentistry, we are not territorial. We do not argue and we do not fight. We do not fight.
Who should we not go to?
Well, no, I'm not going to do that game.
Look, I was going to ask you a question about fluoride too, and see. But we'll say that for part 2.
Okay.
Just to hear about your.
But yes, definitely be seeing some dentist in some way, shape, or form is what we always say.
Okay. Excellent. Well, you heard it. You need to see someone. If you need to work out, you need to see this guy. And in January, we've got somebody for you as far as your teeth go. So. We thank you for watching. We thank you for joining us. It's the Where My Dad's At podcast. I'm going to have to edit our spokesperson in right now because he's normally jumping around. Yeah. And Marco's normally like, subscribe, like, comment. Yeah. So we'll have to edit him in right here. And like, comment, subscribe. We have the goal. We want to get 500 subscribers to the YouTube channel at The Valuable Minds on YouTube. And you can definitely find the podcast there on Instagram, Where My Dad's At on Instagram. Anybody else have social media that they'd like to shout out right now?
You already know what mine is. Mine is Team 757 Health and Fitness. You can find it on Instagram and on Facebook. If you ever want to make an appointment, you can always look on, message me. Right now, I'm like her. I'm pretty busy right now. Come follow me on January. And then, but if you want to come to a boot camp, you always can jump in and, and do some running and some flipping stuff, whatever, you know. But as for right now, one-on-ones, my schedule is pretty tight right now. But after January, hopefully it can open up some more.
Excellent. Yes, we hope it opens up. And big things coming in 2025 for sure.
All right, man.
For sure. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Where My Dad's At podcast, where we ask the question, where my dad's at? And we right here. Right here.
Like and subscribe, push the notification bell, comment any topics you want on this next podcast. Where My Dad's At? We right here, y'all.